Welcome to a special episode of Snap, the Gaia podcast,
Episode 6.
Today with us we have a nice group of podcasters. Let's start by introducing them, shall we? DG.
Hi, everybody.
Tyro.
Hi guys, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my homies down in the Zerchive. You guys rock.
Senna Cross.
Hello.
Signora Viper.
Yay, I'm back again. It's a miracle.
Tobias Geminasu.
Ninja reporting for duty.
Myself, of course, Tutsumi H. And our special guest today, CEO of Gaia, Craig Sherman, aka Finn.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
It is a true pleasure.
You can turn off the music.
Okay, Finn. Of course you know that this is gonna be a nice little interview between us and yourself for the Gaian public. So make sure you have these questions down pat. Starting with a question from Silwithia. Do you like anime/manga? And if so, which ones?
Yeah, well, actually, the stuff I like is mostly pretty old stuff. I love some of the old Miyazaki movies. My favorite ever was Laputa, which is, I think, in English, that's just Castle in the Sky. It's like from the mid-'80s. I actually, when I lived in Japan in college for a year, I went into our library. We had a actual like tape recorder machine there. You could go back and forth and watch the video, and I took every single word I didn't know in Japanese. This is way before they had it, any translation. And I looked every word up in the dictionary, and that was how I was learning Japanese. Long time ago. So, and then recently, so I haven't watched a lot in the last couple of years, but I liked last year, if any of you saw Paprika. It's kind of a sci-fi, fantasy, kind of artsy anime piece.
I think I saw a part of that. I'm not 100% sure though.
So there you go. Yeah.
Okay, next question. This comes from a user named Q. Do your kids play Gaia? How do you feel about that?
My kids are 6 and 4 years old, and basically, they aren't playing much online yet. So, but we do actually, since we introduced Oh My God, I can't help. I'm like totally addicted to it, so I'm playing it online at home. And on the weekends when I play, of course, when I'm supposed to be, quote unquote, taking care of the kids, sometimes we'll end up all hanging out, the 3 of us, and the kids will sit next to me and watch me killing little garlics and fluffs, etc., and they love it. So
That's real.
So cute.
Yeah, it's fun. And they have their Kiki kitties, the real life plushies, and Coco kitties, and they're in their beds and they sleep with them, and they're totally into Gaia. So
You're an awesome dad.
oh, I'm just lucky. I'm totally lucky to work at Gaia. Like most people, like have a job where they come home, mom, and the kids are like, "What do you do during the day?" And you make a widget. And I'm like, no, I work at Gaia. And they're like, wow, does that mean you play and kill the little garlics all day, Dad? So they don't know any better. There's actually quote-unquote work to do. They're convinced that's what I go do every day.
That would be awesome for kids to think. Yeah, my dad kills
send us
things.
some orbs. He gives orbs to us when we need them.
Good
Well,
stuff.
technically, since they're soulbound items, yeah.
Right, can't do that. Can't break the rules just because I work here. So
Yeah. The next question comes from Silwithia again. Why did you choose the name Finn for your avatar?
why'd I use Finn? So it's short for Phineas, and it was a character in a book I read a long time ago called A Separate Piece. I had to read it for school, so I don't know if people still read it, but it was a great book, and he was just a super cool character, and I remember it from 20 years ago. So that's it.
Wow. So I take it you're really into books then?
Oh, I don't know. I read a lot, totally. Yeah, tons of sci-fi, a lot of historical novels, and anyways, good stuff. Yep.
What's the last book you read?
Let's see if I can remember the names of any. I've been reading a lot of science fiction the last couple months for a break. So that's funny. None of them are coming to my mind right now. But if we keep going, one of them will pop into my head. Okay.
Okay. The next question is: do you enjoy the forums more or the games?
Forums or the games? So actually. Before Oh My God came out, I would tell you the forum, no question. The games are fun, but we don't, that's not where I think the magic on the site is. But if I were forced to tell you, like, the part I like the most on the site, I personally love the arenas. Like, I actually love going into the art arenas where people, not the Abbey arenas as much as just real pure art and just checking out people's art, commenting on it, etc. So that's probably my favorite place until Oh My God came out. And for me right now, Oh My God's it. So
yeah, there are a lot of months with you joining up and crewing with other people. That's really cool.
It's awesome, isn't it? The game's funny. It's kind of binary. It's either, if you play alone, it's just an okay game. If you play with other people, it's a ton of fun. So I think we made a cool social game. I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Let's see, next question. How often do you come on to Gaia?
Let's see, maybe 4 or 5 times a day, total of, I'm probably on an hour and a half, 2 hours a day if I'm busy at work, like between meetings and stuff. But on the weekend, probably another 5 or 6 hours. So I live on Gaia and work. That's my life these days. I can share that with fellow Gaians, right? Because you can get kind of addicted, right?
Yeah. Like with most good games, you can always get addicted. So, I mean, hell, you have people who have been on Gaia for 5, almost 6 years now, so...
Right. Yeah, it's really cool. So I don't actually write in the forums as much as I read them, by far. I read mostly. So I have mule accounts and I sometimes write in them, but generally speaking, I just like to read, check out what people are saying.
Right.
You're
Good
a
call,
lurker.
good call. Mules are very useful for getting around.
How
Especially...
many mules do you have again, DG?
Oh, Lord.
32, I believe. 31 mules, because one is my main.
What?
Yeah,
What do you
31.
do with What do you do with 31 mules?
Dress
Let's
them
blame it
as
on cosplay.
an acting character. Yes, cosplay. I have Tuxedo Music is a Tuxedo Mask ripoff. I have a Naruto mule.
Oh God, he's going down the line.
Okay, DG, that's good. That's...
Yeah,
You're just gonna kill the time, man.
That's plenty. I can post a list if you want. Yeah, that's good.
Well, so if we had a
to give
feature on
DG
our
some
site...
awesome points, he also has a Jimmy Buffett avatar.
Oh, cool. Very cool. So, DG, if we had
Actually,
a
Nate-
feature...
Hold on, DG, just 1 second.
Yeah,
What were you
DJ,
saying?
let me ask you, if we had a feature where you could save outfits, would that be cool?
Yes, very
Saved
much so.
outfits? We're working on it. Give us a few more months.
Oh, I'll be here. Don't worry. Not going anywhere.
Okay, you've pretty much already answered this one, so I'll just go into the second part of it. But how far into Oh My God are you?
So let's see. I'm in Baskin right now, and CL 5.0, and I got about 81 orbs at the moment that I haven't put in any rings because I'm being totally indecisive where to put them, and once I put them in, I should get to, I don't know, 5.2, 5.3, I think. So there you go.
Wow.
And I haven't cheated. I'm just working my way through.
Okay,
If anybody's cheating, then you should obviously have Logan take you into the lake.
Alrighty, I guess we're up to the next question. This is another question by Q. She asks, are there any decisions that you've regretted? Can you tell us about it? And what decision or action are you most proud of?
So, I mean, we've done a lot of things I'm really, really proud of here, and a number of things that I'm embarrassed about or feel like looking back we could have done better. But so among things that I'd say, the thing I think the biggest mistake I was involved in making last year was making the Easter event tiny. I don't know if any of you remember, but we were trying to manage all our resources, and at the time, Oh My God was turning into a bigger and bigger project. As you can now tell why, but when we first made it, we didn't realize at all how much work it was going to be to create it. So we had to shift resources around, and one of the decisions we made was to cut back on Easter. And looking back, that was a huge mistake because, you know, for a ton of Gaians, they were really looking forward to it, and I think we disappointed them. So in return, obviously, we changed things around. We created both the prom and the summer event, and I think we tried to redeem ourselves and give people something back. But that's something I look back at and think that was just a big miss on my part and on some of the rest of us who came to that decision. So there's an example.
The Easter egg gets no love.
Well, I'd like to just point out a few things. There are a few times every year that are historical towards Gaians, such as the Easter event, Halloween, Christmas, Gaian annual ball, or whatever else would want to do annually, and every once in a while,
Power Day.
about every 2 years, the April Fool's Day.
Yep.
So, are you planning on, keeping to that schedule, or deviating a little bit, or maybe getting rid of some stuff again, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I'll be really careful not to promise anything now, because most of that stuff's many, many months away, and I don't want to promise officially something, but I'll tell you that when we went through our project list, which we're working on for next year, and made trade-offs, I think basically everything you said on there, we have said we're going to go do. They're really important, not only to all the Gaians who, like you, on the site, but they're really important to the team here. So I don't want to promise. I can't guarantee, but I would say 98% yes to everything you just mentioned.
Okay. Just before we go, the next part of it is the Gaian Olympic events. Now, the original set was the NPCs running around the maps, and we all watched them, and we all got into it and everything like that. And then this year we see a remake kind of version of it with interactive flash games and whatnot. Do you have any idea what caused that change or anything like that?
Oh wait, the team inside was totally excited about doing the games. I mean, it was like this huge ambitious goal. Could we make 50 plus games in a really record short period of time and try to make something that would be, we thought, more fun than last time? So, and I think a lot of users thought it was great. So we were excited about it.
I agree it was fun. I mean, where else are you going to get to watch Liam?
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
And all of the female Gaian users swooned.
So what would you
not.
What were you saying?
What do you think about bringing those games back?
Do
That
it.
would be awesome.
I love them.
Please.
I would say
Cool.
bring them back, but also have some little thing happen like what happened originally. That way the old users and the new users could be happy. That's from my point of view.
Got it. Cool.
Okay, next question. When you were only 5 years old, did you envision yourself as you are today?
Oh yeah, I had this image one night when I was 5 years old that I was going to be working at GaiaOnline.com, and I told my parents, and they're like, "What? No, but 5 years old is really young. So 5, I think what I was thinking about doing was, debating whether I wanted to be in the refuse business as a garbage man or like a fireman. It was that level. At 5.
I would
Maybe you
definitely say
decide-
fireman. You have to choose between those.
So what made you pursue this career instead of like something else?
Oh, I don't know. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of really fun, really rewarding, cool jobs so far. When I met the guys at Gaia, when I met Lanzer and the other founders, I was in a cool place before doing this where I had a chance to look at a lot of different job opportunities, and I was trying to find something that was sort of perfect. Not only potentially like a good job, but something like that on Sunday night I get excited about coming into work on Monday. And I looked at so many different things. And when I met these guys, I just had this huge smile on my face the whole time I was at the office meeting them. And then I left. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I could actually have a job like this. And so we just clicked. Lanzer and some of the other guys, Blue Cow is one of the guys, one of the founders, and had been running the place together with Lanzer, and still here. And then Locke and CP and Vo. So I just clicked and got lucky. And I always wanted to do a job that, frankly, was more than just a business. When you're an adult and you've got a job and you're taking care of a family, obviously one cares a lot about making sure you pick a job that is going to be stable and grow. But even more importantly, what if you could do something that you loved and millions of people were like passionate about? And I got lucky. I found it here.
That's cool.
Oh, that's really neat.
Even though obviously there are a lot of people at times who totally disagree with what we do and think we could do a better job. That's fair.
Don't listen to the GSCD all the time.
GCD Insight feedback.
We spend a lot of time in site feedback and in GCD, and spend a lot of time every day in it. So, anyways,
There's a lot of mixed sour faces.
God. By the way,
Just remember, when
Go
people
ahead.
ask for something, it's be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
You know how we did Oh My God. You get that the reason we did Oh My God is that a few years ago we asked the users in a poll what was the number one thing they wanted next on the site. And the number one thing voted for was an MMO battle game, and the number 2 thing was pets. And we built it because everybody asked for it. It's so funny because a lot of investors will ask us, so how did you decide to make the strategic move into the hardcore MMO space or the casual mid-core MMO space? We'll be like, well, it wasn't really that strategic. We asked our users. They thought it would be cool to do, so we just did it.
nice. The previous question was by Kaio Takamaru. The next question is by Breakability. How do you deal with harsh criticism from the users?
So, honestly, it's hard to take because on some deep level, I don't think every user can put themselves in the shoes of what it's like for not only me, but the 100+ people on the team here who are working extraordinarily hard to make a great site. So sometimes it's hard to see all the things that are going on internally. And I think sometimes the criticism can be unfair. But you know what? Honestly, on a deep level, I think it's great. Because the truth is, everybody who's giving criticism is somebody who really cares about the site, who feels like they own the site, right? That it's theirs. And so they're taking ownership and they're suggesting ways to actually make it better. And if we do our job right, we listen really well, we pick the best and the things that are most practical to do, and we go do them. Long term, we end up making a great site. So I look at it as a good partnership. It can be painful at times, but honestly, I think it's a really, really healthy, good thing.
So that means you've been looking in on the site feedback thread that's NK's name? or that's just an example?
Oh, I'm saying generally speaking. I'm not speaking about any specific thread. I want to be probably careful about doing that formally.
Okay, I was just using that as an example of you actually going into the site feedback thread yourself and going in and just, hovering around and lurking and like checking out each thing and so forth.
Oh yeah, almost everybody here is on site feedback. Almost everybody in the company is on site feedback every day. I think very few people actually write back directly. But we're reading it and trying to internally talk about the points. So it comes up every day. People are IMing about different threads, and most people are reading the ones. So the thing is, there's 100 things on people are asking for, or 1,000 things, and we can only do a few at a time. So we try to do the right one. And a lot of them are a lot harder to do and take a lot more time than people expect. Like, I hope everybody saw on Monday we launched a fix, for example, to the problem that we introduced when we fixed the item system, where your inventory glitch, where the items were snapped back into the wrong place in inventory.
Yeah.
So we fixed that on Monday. That sounds on the surface like such a simple issue. It took us weeks and weeks to actually figure out how to address it. Like even figure out a way to fix it. And then once we figured it out, we put people on it and we got it out on Monday. But I'm sure it feels like it should be something that happens like in a second.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Q. What is the current target audience for Gaia Online?
13 to 25-year-olds.
And
Mostly U.S. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. She also asks if it's changed from when you started, and do you think it will change again in the future?
Yeah, I think it's, it's funny. I actually think it's internally, to be quite honest, the site has people from 13 up to 50 on the site. And so I think the site is for everybody who uses it at any of those ages. But when we are busy internally managing things and trying to decide trade-offs between projects, we have to try to keep it relatively narrow because we can't do everything for everybody. So that's why we try to aim for 13 to 25. And over the last few years, this may sound counterintuitive to you, but the actual median age or average age on the site of logged in users, and we track it, has gone up about a year, and it's about 17.5 years old right now.
Well, I'm guessing that's also because, at least from what I'm thinking, is because most of the users that originally started around like the age of 13 and around that area also grew up with the site. So now, 5 years down the road, they're like 17, 18. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely, that's definitely what's going on. Yeah, and I think the site, the voice on the site and the look on the site has over time edged up a little too. If you look at some of the new Avies and or the NPCs and some of the stores, some of the art, I think we've made a conscious effort to raise it up a little, just because we're trying to adjust to the fact that a lot of people are a lot older.
Just on that note, speaking of Avatar, the art in the stores and that, please, next Halloween, can you update the costumes? Just
all right.
If you think of it, because
Yep.
I don't want to see Agatha in that costume again.
Sagatha. Sagatha.
You got it.
It is nasty.
Request duly noted.
Thank you.
Anyway, the next question is, how has it changed? As by 20 times over. Do you believe that Gaia will ever progress past its current PG-13 rating?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Okay.
Get older? Like, so it's even edgier?
Possibly, because there's a lot, from what some users have been saying, there's a lot of innuendo, and with some of the latest comics, with, like, for example, the Spring Break, where the girl lifts up her top and they shows her breasts, but of course they're censored.
That was Halloween, by the way.
She shows her pixels.
And other innuendos that go around the site and whatnot. Is it
Look,
possible?
I think our site we're going to always be a bit edgy, and I think that's what connects with people, and that's sort of the sensibility of the team here, the artists and the writers on the team, and I think that'll stay for a long time. And the flip side of it is we have to be really careful because we don't want to make the site the way a MySpace or something made their site about something much like way too edgy. And frankly, if people want that, they should go to MySpace. That's not what Gaia is. So, you know.
That raises a whole new can of worms, but I'm not going to go there right now. Okay.
Here's the next question by someone named Tutsumi Aki. Tutsumi is suggesting an account age limit for the arenas.
Meaning a minimum or maximum?
Minimum.
I'm assuming a minimum.
Yes, it is a minimum.
Because some of the pictures are too edgy?
I honestly don't know because I don't really hang out in the arenas. I'm more of a forum/Silver God.
I can pretty much guess what she means is because a lot of new users that go into the Avatar arena, for example, go in there and throw about 1,000 gold out to submit, oh, it's just me avatars, where they're wearing very few basic items and they're like, vote for me, getting their hopes up that they're going to obtain like the winning place when there's a whole bunch of incredibly overdone and well done avatars out there, cosplays and everything. I mean, I think personally that the change to have the cosplay in the originals is definitely a good step, but there's still a lot of newbies out there who just put up whatever items they have on and just hit submit, and then they lose 1,000 gold, and next time they're saying, oh, we got hacked or something. So
yeah. Well,
maybe make. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just thinking, maybe less of an age limit and more of a better warning that you will be losing 1,000 gold for entering in the arena. Because I did submit my cosplay avatar this week earlier, and it didn't really seem noted anywhere that I'd be charged 1,000 gold. I did know it was coming.
I'll definitely look back at it. No, it's a good point. I'll have to look. I'm not actually, that never occurred to me, and it's something we can double check and look into. We keep on making improvements to the arena. I think you guys probably noticed, like the one we just added, obviously, for the for cosplay. So, and we had discussions about creating different levels of arenas for like new users versus ones who are experts. Same deal you can imagine for like not just for cosplay or for avies, but you could do it for art. So you could have people who are really casual or just drawing something, and then you can have people who are much more aspiring artists, and you can sort of separate them so that people who aren't on that level of almost pseudo-professional don't feel like their stuff suffers in comparison to everybody else's really, really good. So we've talked about doing that, and it's just an issue of dev resources and if we think it's a high enough priority. But it's definitely the direction to go. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and that would also help cut back on like if there was an age minimum, account age minimum, it would help back on quite a lot of spammers that actually go inside and spam to get gold and whatnot.
Got it.
But the next question is by Abachan. Will Gaia ever drift back to its anime and role-playing roots instead of closer to a MySpace? I understand that sponsorships may be difficult to get as the anime industry is a failing industry, but might there be an answer somewhere that might bring us full circle?
Huh. So I definitely see a lot of people make the comment inside site feedback that they fear that in ways Gaia might turn into something closer to a MySpace or Facebook. And the fact, honestly, is that we are not intending to do that. And it wouldn't make sense in any way possible because, frankly, MySpace and Facebook do what they do really well. It's a great place to go for what they are. Our hardcore core best users started, and our core has been anime. It's the internet core users, and where we began is anime. And that's never going to change. That is the core. And in fact, we're working on we can't announce it yet, but we're working on a large deal to add a tremendous amount of anime content onto the site. So we definitely care about that. That will never go away. That is our roots. But that having been said, the site's really big now relative to what it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. And as a result, not all Gaians are super into anime. And so we have to cater to everybody on our site. And we want to cater to a broader audience than just people who are only interested in anime. So while that's always going to be our hard core roots, I think it's inevitable that our site is going to be a little broader than that over time.
Just to add on to that, do you think it's possible that you would take into account that a lot of users might like to see a bit more of an anime-ish jab at it, though? Like, at the moment we have a little bit more corporate / smooth edge to the site now. If we can maybe get like a little bit more anime or a little bit more artistic with the site.
Oh my gosh, I look at Oh My God and I say this is an awesome Gaia version of, it's like our Gaia-fied version of what anime is. And we built that without compromise. And I think it's probably the biggest project we've invested a ton of time in. And I think you'll see more and more of that kind of stuff. So I don't think we're selling out or trying to become too vanilla. That's not how I see it, and I don't think the art team here feels that way either.
Right. Okay.
The next question is by Leroon. She's speaking of the mini you pictures that are around the site, like on the homepage. She's asking if it's merely to trick new users into thinking that this is a MySpace or a Facebook site.
No,
I'm not quite sure if I understand the question. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess the point must be, does putting up a picture of a real life picture as opposed to just an avatar or like the mermaid picture as a way of sort of positioning the site, does that shift us to looking more MySpace-like?
Maybe.
And the reality, is that your guess, is what she's asking?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't really use MySpace or Facebook at all, so...
It is starting to look
lost.
a little bit like that.
Well, the truth is we're testing. We're testing different looks and feel for all different places on their site, and I think it's a really healthy thing for us to be doing that. And that specific page, I think it goes to something like 5% of people who come non-logged into the homepage and check it out, and we're just trying to see how people react to it and learn from it. We've been doing tests like that for years of different tests. We've had other tests with real-life pictures on the homepage. But here's the thing. The reason for testing something with real-life pictures is that there are users on our site. You can see in the forums, there are a lot of people in signatures who put pictures of their real-life self. It's a form of self-expression, and some people choose to do it. And some other people choose not to do it. And so while our site will always have a very strong anime look and feel to it, we've got to experiment with every user's taste, every user's interest in the site, and all their forms of self-expression they want to try. So this is one we're trying.
Alright.
Okay.
But you don't have to worry. We're not becoming MySpace or Facebook. It's crazy to think that we're not internally in any way attempting to do that. Just think, let's say we even wanted to. Why would you try to become something that somebody's already amazing at? It doesn't make sense. And why would you do it if our whole heart and soul and focus and the reason for the site to be created was a site that had a very anime-inspired look and much more creative site to it than those kinds of sites, which frankly, a site like Facebook's just a great tool.
Yeah. I actually agree with the point. The next question is by Katsumi Aki. She's asking, will we ever have any more mods?
Oh yeah, we're going to be adding literally hundreds of mods more in the next 6 months. So we've been working hard on redoing the training program for them and have made very clear plans to expand it. So yeah, if somebody's interested in being a mod, timing couldn't be better.
Are you going to be using any of the back quote-unquote applications that users put in, I think about a year ago? Or are you going to reopen the application process and have everybody to reapply?
Good question. I'm not sure. I assume it's the old system, but I actually don't know for sure. So I can double check and I can pop after this, I can pick a few things like that and I can write back in NK's thread if you like, or just pop a message to Tutsumi.
Right. Next question. This next question is by Breakability. How much focus will be on the forums now that the MMO is open to the public?
We won't put less. We're not going to put less focus on the forums. They are the number one feature on the site in terms of both time spent and in terms of the core founders and the team here. They're just focused on things that matter. So, more time is spent there by any Gaian on average. Not every Gaian. Some Gaians don't use the forums at all, interestingly, and are in other parts of the site. But there's more time spent on it on average than any other part of the site. So don't worry, we won't lose focus on that.
Alright. The next question is by Mithril Dragonfly. They say that they're interested in hearing about how prices are determined for the cash shop items.
So I think the only thing I can share on that, because believe it or not, I'm not actually that directly involved in that, is that we try to come up with some low-priced ones all the way up to some high-priced ones and do ranges. And we base the range largely on the amount of effort and work and what we ultimately think is the value of the thing internally. But in the end, it's subjective, right? It's a group of really talented artists who together we're all trying to figure out. Actually, I don't get to be in part of all of these meetings, but I think together that team tries to figure out what is the absolute value of something relative to other things they could work on and the popularity, etc. So it's more art than it is science. That's the short answer.
Right. Okay.
Okay. The next question is by Shoy King. Will there be more Gaia Cash Shop only shops or features? And Shoy King comments that personally, more places like FinFang is not something I look forward to.
So I think over time we will add more cash shop items to the site, and that's the reality. And it's a need on our part to generate enough revenue to be able to cover the cost for the business, just to keep it sustainable, so we can keep going and we can keep building stuff and not lose too much money. But there's two things to keep in mind. One, we have absolutely no intention as a company to become as focused on generating revenue as other companies you might put in our space. So for example, if you know Habbo Hotel, almost everything on the site costs money to do. On Gaia, almost everything on the site doesn't cost money. In fact, if you add up all the cash shop items as a ratio of everything on the site, it's probably just a couple % of all the items on the site. And we've really consciously created the marketplace as a place where for many of the items you can just go in and invest your time and buy them for gold instead of cash, if in the real world it's hard for you to buy things with real cash. So I think as a result, we'll always actually probably monetize the site or make less money per person who's visiting the site than you would find on almost any other site on the net. And we're actually relatively proud of the idea we've tried to create a site that anybody, no matter who you are, can afford being on it.
Right. The next question is by Lord Synthetic. Are you going to make it easier to make gold?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a pretty simple answer.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
again, almost.
short answer.
We're totally
every-
working on it. You guys may know one of the guys on our team who's Sagar, who's this total like PhD econ stud dude who is helping figure out how to manage the amount of gold and stuff on the site so that people have enough and some people don't get too much and that whole thing, and managing inflation. And the short answer is we're trying to figure out how to do it in a way that doesn't screw up the whole economy. But yes. We know it's really hard for people.
Honestly, I think it's a little too easy, but that's just me.
That's because you buy all your stuff and then sell it on the marketplace.
Cash shop. I love it.
Anyway.
Speaking of cash shop, this next question is by Vampire Lemons. Vampire Lemon says, it was once mentioned when GC first came out that in the future there might be a way to buy Gaia Cash as a gift for someone else, much like gifting items from your inventory. Will this ever be implemented?
It's not on the plan anytime soon, but we will have at Christmas the ability for you to buy a cash card as opposed to Gaia Cash, but a physical cash card off the site through PayPal or a credit card and have it delivered to somebody else. So I think that you'll be able to do.
Question, will that be internationally or just in the US?
Says my friend from an international location.
Yes.
We are working on that. But the first step for cash cards, well, wait, you can buy Gaia Cash no matter where you live in the world if you use PayPal.
True.
But if you're saying a cash card, if it's a physical cash card, we're working on distributing cash cards outside of the U.S. It's going to take us some time, but I think we're going to get to Canada first, and then I'm not sure where we'll get next. But we're working on it. We're absolutely working on it.
That's nice to know. The next question is by Solar Sun. Is there any way they're reworking the aquarium so it's not so Gaia Crash driven? I know we can get fish items from the Daily Chance, but not too often, and they tend to be the same item over and over. Us Gaians have been asking for an aquarium to put out fishing fish, not these fish you've given us, for years, and would like to see the aquarium implemented in the near future.
So you can buy in the marketplace, but right now there's no plan to actually introduce the items outside of FinFang for that. But we're trying hard to make really super cool things that are worth it and keep the prices down. So hopefully people can buy the things with real cash, and if they can't, they can go to the marketplace and buy them there.
Right.
Question is by Kiyomi Ren. And Kiyomi Ren says, what prompted the sudden addition of the cash shops? At what point did the donations stop being enough?
So again, so Gaia still is 95 plus, 98 plus % a site that you don't have to use real money for, and we're committed to trying to keep a balance that makes it more fun and more fair than most other sites. But we created the cash shop concept not suddenly. We didn't announce it to anybody, so in that sense we might have done a bad job on communicating it. But we worked on the idea for well over a year internally, trying to figure out how to do it and make it, and how to balance it across the site with all the other features. So when did donations stop being enough? So Gaia has been losing money for a number of years. And we can do it because we have a group of investors who have invested in the company because they believe in the long-term vision, and so they're supporting it. But the truth is, to run a site like this is radically more expensive than I think most people realize. Every week we probably pump out 25 bug fixes to the site. Think of the number of people who are working just on those as one thing. Think about Oh My God, we're talking 20, 30 people working on that. Think about the art arenas and the dozen people or so that have worked on and off on improving that over the last year. On the back end, stuff that you can't see, that's invisible, like the system for our forums. It was going to crash about 18 months ago because as the site gets larger, we couldn't handle the volume of posts that were being made. So we had a whole team, many of our best devs working for 9 months on a project that you can't see as a user except for the fact that the forums work, and they wouldn't work if it weren't for it. So you add all this up, or the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars we spent on servers just in the last quarter, the last 3 months. And we do that on a regular basis as we're buying more computers to support the site. And I think overall our goal is to make a site that's faster, that crashes less, that has less bugs, and where we build features that people really appreciate and like on the site. And we've been trying to do that. We don't always get it right, but to do that costs money. So the short answer is we lose money, and we're investing to make a better site every day. And that requires us to do things like a cash shop. And frankly, the good thing about it is if you do things like a cash shop, everybody on the site is more demanding and asks for a better quality site, especially if they're paying for stuff. And it creates kind of this virtuous circle where we have to work even harder to make it a better site. So that's the story. We're not money-hungry capitalists, as some people on a site might guess. That is not us. We're not General Motors flying to Washington asking for money so they don't go bankrupt and flying there on their private jets. You're talking to the CEO who drove this morning to the office in his Honda Civic with 101,000 miles on it. We're not living fat and happy. We're totally passionate and excited about the business and excited about the site and working on it. So it costs money to run a business and to have a lot of people and to build a good quality service.
Nice.
So if you see a Gaia employee on the street, give them a box of Pocky. They'll appreciate it.
There you go. They could use some Pokey for men. Yep. Cool.
I'm not gonna comment, but okay.
Oh, that was just... Sorry, I just mentioned that one because that's the brand. When I lived in
I know.
Tokyo in '99, that was my favorite.
I know. It has extra. It's a little bit more sour, which is another reason why we're laughing.
Dark, less sweet. So that was my favorite.
Yeah.
That's all.
I was
So if
laughing
you see
at the four
me, that's
men
what I'm
part.
looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, you think the name's silly? Yeah, it's totally silly. But if you live in Japan, everything's silly. One of the best drinks over there was Pocari Sweat. Believe that, Solvo?
I tasted that before. That's actually quite nice.
Yep.
And let's not get on the vending machines.
Yeah. Anyway, the next question is by Q. When will we buy Gaia Cash Direct? Will we ever be able to define a custom amount of Gaia Cash instead of predefined increments?
The answer is someday, but not anytime soon. Not in the next 6 to 12 months, probably, because the resources we'd have to do to go do something like that, we've got them working on other things like improving the friends feature on the site, improving things on Oh My God, and lots of other things on the site that we're just working on right now, bugs, etc. So that's just too low priority. It might make it a little easier for us to make a little more revenue from people who want to pay $4 instead of $5 and stuff like that, but it's just not high on our priority list. We're working, I'd say 90+% of the stuff internally is more user experience improvements to the site, and so we just don't have the time.
Right.
Alright, let's see. The next question is by Aya Dragon's Heart. Out of curiosity, just how exactly do you view the old beat population of Gaia, and even the individuals whom continue to give Gaia money for both MCs and cash shop items?
Before you answer this,
Yeah?
be known that the majority of this podcast are oldies.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great when we were just playing together and heard some of your references to stuff in the past. It's really cool. So, you guys are, to use a cliche, you're like the wind beneath our wings. You are the core of the business, and Gaia would not exist today if it weren't for you guys.
I think Tobias has bought one of your servers with all of his donations. So,
Probably has.
Probably, yeah, he has.
I'll just go on the record and I will state I did at least at one point in time to get a certain item. I bought like 250 letters.
Good
Oh
Lord,
my
I remember
God.
that.
Yeah. That is actually quite true. I can vouch for him on that. It was quite
yeah,
the
I
expensive
remember it
item.
too.
That's amazing. You'd be surprised, but very few people buy the letters relative to the number of people in total on the site. And I think the people who are more likely to buy and more likely to support the business are the guys who've been with us for a long, long time. And so we owe them our existence, literally. And sort of every month, they're the guys we have to keep on proving ourselves to. And so we try to keep focused on them, even though I know on a day-to-day basis it probably doesn't feel like that. I'm sure people feel like we're working on things that aren't their specific pet project. But if you were to look over time at all the investment we've put in to maintain the site and improve the core features, I think you'd see we're really supporting everybody.
Right. The next question is by Donnie the Gunner. Weird name, but I believe that you should focus a little bit more on Gaians who have been on the site for a while. Do you have any plans on rewarding more experienced players?
So I think the last question I sort of answered that. But we're not going to do anything specific where, like, because you've been on the site for 4 years, you get something different and better than somebody who's been here 1 or 2 years. I don't think that's fair. The guys who've been here for 1 or 2 years, they count too, right? So I don't think we'll do anything as specific or like I don't know, discriminatory like that for any particular group. That's it.
That's fair
I
enough.
think though the added touch for the of who gets into the open beta first, I think that was a nice touch though.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we definitely, that was a way we thought, of saying thanks, in part because we wouldn't have built the game if it weren't for people asking for it from years ago. So it made sense there, we thought. And we got really good feedback from everybody. So the newbies, the guys who've been with the site maybe in the last year or so, I don't think they felt like they were shut out. And that was important. At the same time, we were trying to thank everybody else. Cool.
Okay. The next question is by Liron. Liron comments, why was the adorable Gaia logo changed in favor of something completely boring and generic? Are there plans to make the logo more... Sorry. Are there plans to make the logo more exciting and befitting of the Gaia spirit anytime soon?
We like the logo. People worked hard on that logo. So I think overall as a team here, we're pretty stuck on that logo for a while. But if people want to send some new suggestions, we're happy to look. We've certainly changed the homepage many times for people's suggestions and other parts of the site. So if people have suggestions, send them along. But I'll tell you, that will be a hard one to change right now. We like it.
I kind of have to agree. Like,
What about you guys? Yeah.
I really love the old logo, but the new one, I'm just kind of like, oh, hey, that one's nice. I mean, it has a more refined and professional look to it.
You know what I think would make it cooler though? Is if it actually, you know that how the oh my god is in that little bubble, right? Why not have a similar bubble around Gaia?
Yep. You could do that. Oh, I'm just checking out right now on the site, looking at this oh my god one.
Personally, I would say...
Yeah, I think the short answer is we'll consider it, but I think we're pretty stuck with what we're doing.
Personally, what I would...
You there?
Yeah, the buzz. The buzz?
I'm here.
You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I lost
we're
you for a sec. Now I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, let's like...
Okay.
What I was saying pretty much is it follows along the same path as I was saying earlier, along the lines of the site's gotten more corporate/smooth edge. That follows along the same lines as the logo, which has been cut down to size and pretty much streamlined, if you want to call it that. But being an oldie, as we've already stated, it kind of feels wrong. I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. I feel out of place.
It looks fine to me. I just,
I'll
thought
tell you,
the speech bubble thing would be cool.
No, I hear you. So everybody's got opinions on something like this, and we can't satisfy everybody. This is a look we really like. We're keeping on improving it over time, but so just ask you to live with what we've got right now, and over time, if you've got suggestions, we'd definitely listen to them. But we're pretty proud of the improvements we've made recently, and we're going to keep on making more.
Right.
Amen.
I have a few questions for you, Mr. Sherman.
Sure.
First,
Call me Finn.
oh, sorry, Ben. Why did you feel the need to compare World of Warcraft to Gaia? Was it because you wanted Gaia's name out there more so than it already was?
Oh gosh, that in the world of sound bites, boy, that was a bad one. So you got to understand the total context there. I was at a panel at a gaming conference. On the panel, all these people in the audience, and the discussion was about the future of games, and it was sort of set up as a debate around hardcore games versus the new free-to-play games coming out of Asia and social experiences on the net. And we were talking about, and I was basically trying to make the point that even the world's best game out there, World of Warcraft, which has the most successful business model on the planet, and they're doing like $1 billion in sales. And I was very, very clear that I think WoW is extraordinary, and that we're envious of their extraordinary success. Even that only has 8 to 9 million people, 10 million people in the world playing it out of hundreds of millions of people. And the point I was trying to make was that there's a barrier to games like that because you have to buy something physical and you have to pay $15 a month for it. And if it's not physical, if it's not a physical package, you're still forced to many hardcore things to be downloading them for half an hour or more. And so I was saying I thought this, over time, this category, which is more casual experiences on the net, of which Gaia is one, well, you could put MapleStory into the same context too. In fact, a guy from MapleStory was on the same panel. That potentially, that you'll see more and more people gravitating from things like TV and magazines over time to spending more of their time in these casual experiences. That's what I was trying to get across. The quote was certainly different than that. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now than what I read in the article I brought up online. The next question is, would you consider doing a charity event via Gaia's users for a real-world offline issue like AIDS or cancer?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it. So we actually talked about doing something for this Christmas, and a few days ago finally decided we just didn't have the enough people internally to do both the development work and the product work and then do the partnership to do some charity thing. So we had two ideas we were looking at, and we got, one was in well, I won't go into them. So the answer is, yeah, we're very interested. We're going to figure out a way to do something sometime soon, hopefully. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, one suggestion that I think Viper and I brought up was part of like the cash Gaia cash sales for that month go towards a specific charity. I think that's what we said, right, Viper?
Yes.
Yeah, and or
that's a great idea.
Or part of like part of the MC sales.
Yeah.
Goes,
You could actually refine that down, Senna. You could refine it down to the You can refine it down to the point where you have like a single item, if you're doing like charity towards breast cancer or something like that, you could have like the pink ribbon be available to purchase for your avatar.
That's actually what I brought up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally want a ribbon or something like that for my avatar or something, just to show it off. Be like, hey, I participated. I am awesome.
I got a way you can merge all these together.
And make it. And but see
Okay.
that if it was for an item, I would want that to be quote unquote soul bound to that avatar, because if you donated something to get that item for that charity event, it should not be able to be traded or placed in the marketplace. But
Good point.
that's why I was
Very
wanting to do an item.
But just
Okay.
the cash cards can have bonus items attached. Why not do a special run of cash cards where, I don't know, maybe a couple bucks of it go towards the charity cause? You know, like a $25 cash card, and $2 of it goes towards the charity for every one of that run of the cash card sold, and it comes with the pink ribbon or whatever item you want to link it to based on the cause.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is if there was an item there, it should
Well, yeah, and then it would be
soul-bound.
soulbound. Yes, yeah, that would be the.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but then you're kind of getting them all in together. People get their cash they can spend on Gaia. Money is raised for the charity, and there's an item to
It's a
commemorate
win-win
that. Yes, I did.
situation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a thought.
So we're definitely thinking about it. We're trying to figure out what to do it on, like what's the best theme and how to do it. And I think we will do something soon. Not by Christmas though. We had to hold off for right now. Right.
Okay. Are you? The
Great
next
idea.
question is,
Thanks,
are
guys.
you likely to bring Gaia? Are you like? The next question is, are you likely to bring Gaia out of private corporate status in the near future and allow of-age over 18 users to buy stock in the corporation?
So not anytime soon. So we are a private company, and so there's no way to buy or sell stock in Gaia. And if we go public and go on a public market like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, then you would be able to. And if we ever were to do that, we would try to do something special to allow long-time Gaians to get in on something like that. That would be super cool if it's doable. But the truth is, right now, the last thing our company could ever consider right now, and probably for anybody right now, is going public, because the economy is really, really bad. So nobody like us could go public. Plus, we're not making money, and until you're making money, it's very hard to go public.
Okay. Would you be willing to allow more of an open communication between Gaia's users and the administration business side? An example of this would be Evil Online's council system. I do have a link if you'd like to have a quick read of what I mean, or I can read it for you if you'd like.
Well, yeah, why don't you we'll send it along after this. We have,
Okay. I can give you a quick gist. Basically, Evil Online's council system has an actual 8 to 9 person council from different regions of countries. One from Netherlands, some from Netherlands, UK, USA, and Denmark, and their ages range from 17 to 52. They bring about, things that other users bring to the table. Something like the site thread, but it's actual face-to-face, or something like we're doing now, the ability to go and talk more on a personal level like we're doing now. Something more for open communication, so then users know that they're being heard, and so users can post better grievances and not more hate. Trying to.
Yeah, I think we need to do a better job, and I'm not sure specifically the idea of a council works is the best way. I worry that picking the people for that can become political.
Well, the users actually had to vote. And
yeah, exactly.
Everybody on long-standing had to actually do do a referendum and everything like that. So it's an idea.
No, I think I think the general suggestion is a good one, and we've taken a lot of steps in the last few months to, I think, communicate much better with users, both through the mods and through community spotlights on the site, through feedback forums and site feedback, where we're trying to do a better job of both collecting feedback and then giving feedback back to Gaians on things we're fixing and improving on the site. But we have a long way to go still. So it's something that, it's funny, our site has so much feedback in a way, and we read so much of it, but it's really hard to figure out a way to communicate that we're listening and show all the things we're working on. And it's something we need to get better at. But I think you'd be pleasantly surprised and pleased if you were here to see how many of our conversations are centered on what people are asking for, and then we're focusing on trying to improve those things. It's just we have very few people relative to do everything Gaia needs. We probably need 200 more people, and we just can't afford them. So each piece we're doing very slowly, but I think step by step we're getting there. Do you feel a sense of improvement? Do you feel a sense of improvement?
Actually, since the last few months, there has been a lot more of open communication. I
Cool.
was actually I was actually impressed to see some devs and admin actually post within the site feedback thread. It's awesome. I was also shocked when I was hearing that you'd be doing this interview.
Well, Tutsumi, email, I answer almost every PM I get. I write in my journal, not on a regular basis, but when I have something I know I can share that's definitely going to get done, I'm reading. And I think I'd say that many of the devs are even more active much more active than I am. And we've been talking a lot internally. We talk a lot about finding the time, encouraging everybody to find the time to get on and actually write back. Because we read it a lot, but it's hard to write back sometimes. People are afraid of promising something and then not later being able to deliver. We got a lot of flack for Oh My God for 2 years, saying we would create it and people thinking we would never pull it off. So we're trying to be careful not to.
My husband actually had an account and left when it kept on getting pushed back, which is kind of sad. But when I told him it came out, he unfortunately he's not able to play it at this time. But yeah, I was also looking forward to it. And now I'm so low level, like probably will be killed, like mad with where you're at right now.
Well, you have to IM me before you go on. I'll try to help you. I've got all the right healing rings. But so I'm glad to hear it's getting better, and we'll get better over time. We'll keep on working on it.
Okay. All right.
Just a quick insert here. Message. Please do not spam Finn's inbox just because he says he answers all of his PMs.
Yeah, that's not an invite to do that.
Yeah,
Only if you have
I think I just created a self-fulfilling problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that part.
If I say I answer them all and everybody writes, that means I'll have too many and I can't answer them all.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that part out.
Keep on writing in the keep on writing in site feedback. We're reading. Lanza reads regularly. I read regularly. The whole team here is reading regularly.
Does Lancer ever pass out on his desk still then? While reading?
Often. Lancer works the most crazy hours. He's really funny. He'll be up at 3 a.m. working on stuff, and then at 3 p.m. he'll be wiped out. It's funny.
I know, I've seen him like online 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, dude, go to bed.
Oh, he's the most totally passionate, intense founder of any company I've ever met. It's awesome.
Okay, next question. Were you a Gaia user prior to your becoming the CEO?
Yeah, for a few months before I joined.
Okay. Can I ask, I understand you kind of answered this earlier in the podcast, but why do you feel the need of pitting the site as a teen hangout, quote unquote, more so than it being an anime community or just a community in general?
So, again, this is a case where I get quoted in a totally different context, and then when people on the site see it, they worry that it comes across like what I'm saying is it's for young people. In fact, what's going on is the following. I'm meeting people in contexts like at conferences where people say, Club Penguin, Webkins, and Gaia, tell me about how you guys market yourself to children and to their parents. And in that context, I'm often trying to emphasize that actually we're not for kids. Gaia is actually a site for people in their teens and older. So when I use the word teens, I'm trying to emphasize the idea it's an actual older group than what many people think. And it comes from the fact that people who are not using the site, who just pop on, particularly people at conferences where I'm speaking, they're going to be from like the business community. They're older. They look at the site, they see the cartoon, they say, oh, that's for a kid. And what I'm trying to do is say, no, not at all. It's actually, it's a much more sophisticated, older site than you think. In fact, you have to be over 13 to use it, and then I push on beyond that. So I'm actually always, in every case, trying to make that point, not that it's young. I mean, I myself am 41 years old. I have friends on the site who are many in their 30s. The site is definitely not for kids, right? That's what I'm trying to emphasize when I bring up the age.
Okay, because the reason why I asked the question, just as clarification, because I don't mean it as an attack, was because I've seen articles online, billing it and quoting you as basically saying it's a teen hangout. And I was quite shocked to find this when, in fact, I myself am an older user. I'm 27 years old. So it's like, what? Because plus, I think a lot of users who are of the above 20, 21 age range is getting flack for being our ages on the site because they hear it's a teen site, and you can take it from there.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought it up, and I don't take it as an attack. I actually think. So first, I was trying to. That's the reason why I was using the word was to emphasize an older age than a younger age, and that all having been said, a few months ago, a number of users really made a big. A number of messages on the site, feedback about it, and PMs to me and a few others. And as a result, we've tried really hard recently to not use that phrase. Sometimes it still slips in because it's on some document that we've still got out there, someplace on the website that we haven't changed. But these days, you'll see the site says people, it's for people in their, it'll say teens and 20s, or it'll emphasize community instead. So, point well taken. The site certainly has a lot of people, like I love the site. I clearly get why the site's great. And I certainly don't mean to imply it only works for somebody who's in their teens.
I mean, Tower, isn't your mama also a user?
Yep. She's been a user, I think, since, I'm thinking 2007, like early 2007.
But the age distribution, for what it's worth, it's there's about 30% of the users are over 18. There are 40% are over 18, and the rest are 13 to 17 or so. So that gives you a sense. So in some ways, factually, it's not inaccurate if you're trying to describe the site to give the sense of teens and 20s. But I'm glad you guys have brought it up, and I think you'll see more and more we've shifted the description so that people aren't confused. So if you go to like our About Us and stuff, you'll see it says Gaia Online's the leading online hangout on the web. The first time it was written, I think it said something like leading online teen hangout on the web.
Actually, no, I can remember this specifically because it was also inside the referrals back in 2003, 2004. It was Gaia Online, Gaia online. Hold on, Gaia Online, web's biggest anime role-playing community.
Got it. So we definitely are emphasizing the community a lot more than anime and role-playing when we describe it in a one-liner. And while anime is definitely the core, it would be inaccurate to say that that the whole community is an anime and role-playing community today. It's broader than that.
Okay, that comes to my questions, which I only have like one or two. I would like to know who the main competitors of Gaia are and why are they considered competition?
I think the best way to run a business and the best way to run a website is not to focus on competitors, but instead to focus on your users and focus on making a great quality product. So honestly, we don't obsess with that. We think a lot more about just making a great quality product. So
And that's
it
good.
probably, yeah. So I don't know who to point to.
Okay.
You know.
Well, my next one is probably a little bit more of a personal question. What do you plan on doing for Thanksgiving?
Hang out with my family. Family and best friends from college coming over. We're all going to hang out and have Thanksgiving. My dad's flying into town, and we should have a great time. It's nice. It'll be great to take a day off. And you?
Me and my mom probably going to get up at the crack of dawn and begin on dinner.
Cool.
And that's it for questions from me. Anybody else?
I have one question, actually. I have
Go
only
ahead
one.
first. You go first.
Only one question. Which NPC is your favorite?
Oh man, they all have. That's hard. I can't say. I can't say because, frankly, I think I'd offend some of the other NPCs.
Oh, come on, you can tell us.
Because I only
Don't tell.
asked because I only asked
Next
because
question.
Ian's been getting so much love. Where's Gambino?
I know. If you're Gambino, you'd feel terrible these days, right? It's like being George W. Bush. No respect.
Next question.
What's your favorite evolving item?
Alruna's rose.
Yes!
Good for y'all.
I think that's everybody's favorite evolving item.
Hold on. This is the important part. Which evolution stage?
Oh no, I mean, I'm the CEO. I can only admit it was one of the early stages before we saw what it turned into. That's my safe answer.
That's your safe.
Really? I have to say the last pose was mine.
Yes, Tobias. No.
If you had a chance then create an AI, would you, and what would it be if you can tell us if you would make one?
That's a super cool question. But my job is to keep all the trains running here and do all the boring work while the creative, awesome guys do that part of the job. So I don't even know. I'd have to think about it. I'll get back to you.
That could be their Christmas present to you. They make your evolving
So-
item dream come true.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could use my influence, huh? I'll think
Yeah.
about it.
Yes.
I mean, they did
Or
make
just make
bake.
sure they listen to this, and maybe they'll get the hint, guys.
Right.
Listening? Yeah.
Well, if the users will listen to this, then support me on my idea, then they'll listen, because they actually really pay attention to how many people say they want what. They won't care about just my little vote.
We'll make a petition thread.
Yes. Always works. And I would also like to say thank you for the giant Kiki. It is a great pillow.
It was crazy idea to even make something that large. It's fun that you bought one. That's awesome. That's cool.
No, I
We
want it.
actually won it.
You wanted it,
Oh,
yeah.
how cool.
Yes.
That
Otakon
Otakon.
2008.
It was fun carrying that thing around. Really heavy though after a while, huh?
Yes. But
Well, anyway.
it is amazing.
Um,
Anyway.
let's wrap this episode up. First of all, I'd like to thank our special guest, Craig Sherman, aka Finn, for joining us. Oh, right, of course. Musi?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Finn, you know I asked you this earlier, but for the users, can you answer it again? Do you like ponies?
I love ponies. Thanks for asking.
Yay! Okay, you can end now.
Okay. So once again, I'd like to thank our special guest for coming on this episode and allowing us to interview him. And we hope that we can get many more interviews with with him and other members of the Gaian staff in the future.
You bet. You bet.
Would you like to say anything before we close out this episode, Mr. CEO?
Just thanks to all Gaians. If you guys have issues that we need to improve on, keep writing them and cite feedback. We're here. We're listening. We'll keep on trying to make Gaia a better place for you guys. Thanks.
DG, do you have a question? I mean, okay.
Whoops.
Closing out. DG, do you have anything to plug? Oh, apparently DG, we've lost DG, so moving along right afterwards.
DG? DG! Dun, dun, dun.
Quiet.
DG, would you like to say anything before we close out?
Finn, as he said, feel free to come back anytime. It was a pleasure having you and a lot of fun.
Thanks very much.
News Pop?
Thanks for coming to the interview. It was really fun. We should all hang out together again sometime.
Center Cross?
Thank you, Finn, for my spasminess earlier, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you tonight. And hopefully you come back soon for another episode.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Signora Viper?
That wasn't too painful, was it?
Thanks, guys.
Tobias Geminasu?
Thanks for coming. It was fun.
And of course, I'd like to thank all of our users for listening in to this special episode. And we hope to see you for many more episodes. Have a nice night.